investing. Women teach trading and investing. This event is brought to you by Timing Research and Trade Out Loud. The event is being recorded, and all the recordings will be available as soon as they're processed on the TimingResearch.com website, and also on the Timing Research YouTube channel. David Cosmeter and I will be your host today. Before we begin, let us remind you once again that all information presented today is for educational purpose only and should not be construed as investment advice regarding the purchase or sale of securities, options, futures, forex, or any instrument of any kind. Trading involves a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. You could lose money. Before deciding to trade, you should carefully consider your objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. Individual performance depends upon each person's skills, time commitment, and effort. Results may not be typical, and individual results will vary. You must do your own research and take your own trading decisions. So with us today, we have a fantastic lineup of women pro traders that will be happy to share strategies, tips, and tricks with you. And with us today, we have Mercedes that will kickstart our third day event. So thanks so much, Mercedes, for accepting our invitation. I think when David is ready, you have the mic.
Thank you very much, Anka and David, for giving me an opportunity to do a second presentation here, which is really going to be a follow-on from what we have discussed on Monday. And I will be going a little bit deeper into the strategy, just to remind you about the background of everything. It's about having a holistic approach to everything, to being whole in your body and in your mind. And if you are that, then you have the ability to see everything you need to see in the market. Why is that important? It's important that, to stop you from falling into information bias. We'll go a bit deeper into this. Don't need to do that here. You can read about me here if you don't know me. Won't spend any time on that now. So I'll just say a few things about the trading psychology, why it's different today again, because it's so important to really, really get a grounding on this. So those of you who know me will know that we've spent a lot of time talking about the very nature of what is going on in our environment at the moment. And it's both physical and spiritual. The spiritual part ultimately is the biggest part of it. It has been in the making for quite some time, and now really there is no denying of it. A blind man with a stick can see and feel that things are different. So of course the physical and the spiritual work together, and when you can work them together, well, you have got a head start in everything you do in life, not just in your trading. Our brains, as a consequence of this shift in energy, are having to shift. I discussed on Monday the Max Planck, the Weaver experiment, which clearly sort of provided the first scientific evidence. There have been many experiments since then, how our brains totally depend on a certain dominant carrier frequency. And if that frequency is absent, we cannot function. And of course, what's happening in the world at the moment, there is a lot of tugging in the universe from the opposing forces, and it's throwing our brains out on a regular basis. And that's very, very hard for everyone who is sensitive to magnetic energies, and that's the majority of people. It's very, very hard to remain on an even keel with this. It's almost actually impossible. So we will feel it. Therefore, we have to have different priorities of what we are dealing with today than we had, well, even 10 years ago, because this energy that's came in about around 2008, actually. So it's been in the making for quite some time, but it's really only come into the forefront of our minds I would say approximately 2 years ago, of course, culminating with the events about 14 months ago. A main target, of course, is the financial system. This is all about the financial system because the financial system is the controller of our consciousness and has been for 5,000 years. It is not just something we have chosen. No, we have been manipulated into compliance and working with it as if it were the only reality in this world. Well, that really is not true. And because of where we are right now with the frequencies, people are beginning to see something else is happening. We talked on Monday about the boxes not being there anymore. So therefore, today, in order to have a solid grounding, which is robust and that will help you to deal with anything that is thrown at you, be that massive volatility, be that massive changes, and I assure you they are coming. They are just around the corner in the way we trade, in the way the entire financial system is going to work. And by the way, there is a lot of misinformation out there. Most of what you hear about it is only partially true, and therefore it's lopsided and can really, really throw you off course. And of course, it's designed to do that. We must understand that. And because of this, we really need to understand the way universal laws of manifestation work. And of course, ultimately, everything is manifestation. We need to go into cosmic history, into cosmogenesis. Cosmogenesis is the history of how the human form, shall we say, came into being, and beyond. It's quite complex, fascinating subject. If you understand it, your view of yourself and your view of what you are looking at and how you must go about manifesting the things you wish to have in your lives will change. That's why it is so important to get you out of this victimhood, out of fear, into co-creator, which you are. You are co-creating, not so much with creator. That makes it sound as if it's something different from us. Rather, it is about co-creating with the other aspects of creation out there. And when I say aspects of creation out there, that of course is the human form. It is a lot more than that. So the next thing is, of course, we have to decode and uninstall all the mind viruses. This is all the false ideas we have about who we are. And that ultimately is the essence of healing. When you come out of the matrix, free yourself from this matrix, which has been put in there for you as a stage show, a horror film, then you can find a way of coming back to your true source. And we'll go into a lot more detail about this. How are we going to do this today? So then, and only then, can you, once you have done this, you will be able to feel your heart and connect with the heart in a way you've never ever done before. And that is the ultimate freedom. And from that, everything else flows. You will have no more this idea, my trading is so difficult and it's this, that, and the other, and I need to really spend most of my life working hard and educating myself. It's not really about that. So brief synopsis of what we're going to talk about. Right. Let's begin with the 12, what I personally see as the 12 cardinal sins that stop lasting trading success. So it's how I see it. It's my experience from my own trading. And of course, it's my experience from, the many, many traders who come to me with their challenges and asking for help and advice. Well, it all starts, number one, and everything else flows from this one really, is lack of self-awareness. Lack of self-awareness leads to poor emotional regulation, because if you had the tools and if you would apply the tools, I am not going to say that your emotional regulation would be fantastic 100%, but what I am saying is this: you then would be able to direct your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions in a timely manner before you gonna tear down the whole house of trading and investing and everything else that goes with it. And I just want to remind you again, my motto is, as in trading, so in life, it is all the same, because what you do in your trading, you will repeat the same patterns everywhere in life. It is how the brain has been set up. Next one that comes from this lack of self-awareness, which seeks confirmation in order to operate properly, is overdependence on indicators. When I look at traders' charts, and frankly, I faint, well, almost, when I see what they have on their charts. And I think, how on earth can you make in intraday trading quick decisions when you have the whole screen peppered with too much information you just cannot take in? So simplicity comes from having a degree of inner independence, where you are aware that you are the creator and that you are not at the mercy of something outside of you. And that is quite an advanced thing. But again, you know, everything I do, everything I teach is about getting you to this place. So then the next thing is, this insecurity plays out in seeking instant gratification, and over dependence on negative news events. Well, again, that comes from how the brain is wired. 70% of what goes on in your head is negative. So it's very, very easy. It's much easier for me or anybody else to program you into negative limited thinking than program you into positive and unlimited thinking. It feels unreal, it feels counterintuitive, and you have never done it before, so there are no reference points, therefore you won't do it, so you just stay where you've been. Over-analysis falls into the same category. Too much sim trading is another one. Sim trading and real trading are very, very different. Sim trading, if you can sim trade and don't use that in your real account, sim trading is basically an ego trip. Seeking safety is, again, insecurity. It leads to hesitation or trading too much, too big, too small, exiting too early, and basically not following your strategy. And where else, let me ask you, are you doing that in life, where you say something and then you don't follow through? I see it all the time. I would go as far as to say that 99% of the general populace behaves like that. So the next thing, which is scarily common, even with traders who have been trading for a long time, is lack of rock solid chart reading skills. If you are not able to read a chart and see very, very quickly what's there, well, how do you expect to trade intraday? I mean, you are out, on to a loser. You will be totally dependent on a system where you follow your indicators without really understanding what you should be looking at. That goes hand in glove with a lack of a rock solid strategy to manage your trades and waiting for trades. Waiting for trades is a huge, huge challenge for traders. And the way the markets are these days, where there is no flow as there used to be. I mean, 20 years ago, the markets flowed. It was a totally different thing. But we are here today. It's going to stay like this for quite some time. So you had better get used to it. You have to have a strategy that allows you to sit calmly, shall we say, with Zen-like calm through these waiting for trades moments and actually enjoy them. And enjoy the boredom, what your linear mind sees as boredom. And then, of course, there is that lack of mental nimbleness. When it suddenly changes and the fireworks are off, you need to be able to decide in a jiff, do I want to participate, do I not? Are my levels met? Are they not left? Whatever your strategy is, you need to be able to act in an instant. Focus on outcomes is a big one. You are not trading for an outcome, you are trading to be in alignment. huge, huge difference. Predicting the future in line with your subconscious hopes. Haven't we all got them? I hope more of you who are here have them on the subconscious level and not the subconscious level. So, and the need to be right lead to information bias, which is very, very dangerous in life. It leads to lopsided and blinkered thinking. And all that together, it stops you from being in whole brain mode, and it fuels tension, anxiety, fear, self-doubt, resentment, which basically equals losses. So right now, let's look at how your mind processes information in front of it. Well, for starters, the average mind, and I know most people aren't aware of it because all this runs in the subconscious, needs to hear a new piece of information at least 50 times before it even begins to register as a valid proposition, as something you might want to look at. So we have to keep saying the same thing over and over again, slight variations from different angles until something clicks in the mind, and that aha moment kicks in when you have the first trigger that enables you to take action. So most people, of course, are information gatherers and not information processors. Hence, they never act on the information they are taking in there. They move to the next piece and the next piece and the next piece, looking for confirmation. The mind judges every piece of information instead of receiving it. That's really what we're saying here. Now, applying a new concept that goes beyond intellectual understanding takes willpower, and also it takes the willingness, which is perhaps much more important actually, it takes the willingness to choose to be different. And that's the hardest hurdle to overcome, because we are all married to our little ways of how we see ourselves, our, you know, what I call our identity. In order to move beyond, you have to move beyond who you think you are, because who you are is actually an illusion. You are really underneath it all very malleable. So the greatest vision ultimately, of course, will remain fantasy unless it is consistently acted on. And that means consistently reminding you that you are capable of doing and being more than you are right now. Of course, it's fear, unconscious fear, because not all fear runs in the conscious realm, but unconscious fear stops the information you are hoping to gain and gather in order to transmute it into something bigger and better. It stops it from reaching the neocortex. So it just evaporates into nothing. But what it also does, fear creates chronic brain imbalance, and that leads over time, unless it is addressed, it leads to cognitive decline. And we have seen a lot of this in the last 18 months. I mean, I have to say, I am dumbfounded when I see what is going on with everybody. And I would say, if we are honest, of course, it's been harder for all of us to stay on course. We all have to be more mindful and remind ourselves what it takes to stay in our vision, because the nefarious side does not want you to do this. And they do everything, we talked about this on Monday, to stop you from being in harmony, stop you from thinking for yourself. Because when you think for yourself, you will choose for yourself, and you will choose change of what you think is right for your energy. So of course, your mind always wants to know the how, and that's another thing that stops you from getting what you want, because the question is not how, it is all about choosing to feel the energy and tuning into the energy, and most people can't do it. So we could as well ask here, because we are working hard on our trading strategy, and we got all these different ideas. There are many good trading strategies out there. Your job is to find one that is right for you, because each strategy is slightly different, represents the person who has developed the strategy. Your job is to find out which strategy is most in alignment for you. Well, this is where the feeling element comes into it. Energy always, 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 always leads the mind. It's not the mind, it's energy that is there a long time before anything else is there. Our brains function exactly like the universe, when they are functioning properly, that is. Really, the universe is a place where everything is intelligent and everything is alive. And I mean absolutely everything without exception. Now, that is the visible and the invisible. The visible is only 4% of the universe, right? So, however, when we say everything is intelligent, that does not mean that everything is good for you, or that every intelligence has got a good intention for you. All feelings are energy, good, bad, and indifferent. All emotions, good, bad, and indifferent, are energy. Thoughts, good, bad, and indifferent, are energies. Emotions and feelings, therefore, matter a great deal. Fear is an energy which precedes thought, obviously a negative energy. And therefore, what you subconsciously think matters, because with your subconscious, you drive your energy. With your subconscious thoughts, you drive your energy. Approximately 5,000 years ago, the Babylonian money codes were created to hook your brain into external survival mode. Fear, false evidence appearing real. It's as simple as that. There is no getting away from it. That's the way around it is. It's been done to you. You are not doing it, but you think now that you are doing it. And the question is, whenever you get into these feelings, whose is that feeling? Mine, or is it somebody else's? Good question to ask, by the way. Very good question to ask. So, now, having to know how things are is really knowing how something feels. It's all about that feeling. So it is not about, is this wrong? Most traders come from the premise, I'm wrong. And I have got evidence, here is the evidence, I'm always wrong, and look at my trading, blah, 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 blah. The world is wrong. Here is the evidence. I mean, switch on CNN, yeah, I mean, you get plenty of evidence that, the world is, sort of a giant shit show at the moment, right? And this is not about denying it. It is about refocusing. So what if instead you could trade and invest from a very different premise? And that from premise is, what is possible beyond the judgments I have about everything that I perceive as being wrong in this world and being wrong with me? What if I could choose instead and ask myself, what is right about the shit which I am not getting? And I can assure you of one thing, and all the shit you are seeing, if you get out of victimhood, there is something right about it which you are not yet getting. So what is it you are not getting? This is not about ignoring the shit. Let me say this again. In fact, it's important that you fully understand it, how it's created, where it's playing out, and how it's playing out. But it's, really about first acknowledging all of it and then choosing something different for your life, for your trading, for your investment strategies, from a place of empowerment, from a place of knowing what's right for you and not what's right for somebody else. So the best investing strategy, therefore, is you. The buck stops there. And when you learn to choose what's right for you and not for somebody else, then, only then, can you take back control. So, and of course, that starts with getting out of your head and getting into the heart. Here is an interesting fact for you, scientifically proven fact. The heart knows the energy of any event 3 seconds before the brain because that is because it doesn't judge, it goes straight to the energy. Now, if you can learn to trade from your heart, you can tune into this. You can tune into this. Now, would it be good to learn that? Personally, I think yes. So the biggest issue today, of course, is the fear that switches off your brain. It's an interrupt energy which sends literally a vertical line down your brain. It splits the brain in two parts, and consequently the left and the right brain, the top, the bottom, the front and the back will not talk to you anymore. And if we have time, I will say take you through a quick group exercise if we have time. And you'll see how easy it is or can be to reconnect, and it'll help you to understand when the neurons stop firing correctly and you start getting into this dystopian reality thinking it's real. We talked about this on Monday. So the program you are running on has nothing to do with your evolution. Let me say that again. It's internally induced on you. You just think it's hardwired. It is not hardwired into your brain. Get this into your head. It is absolutely not hardwired into your brain. All it is you are lacking the tools because you're constantly in fear and judgment to reactivate your full functioning brain and your full functioning DNA. It's all still there, I assure you. It's all still there. It cannot, at least not just yet, be taken away from you. Very, very, very soon it'll be a different story. But right now you are still in control and you choose what you want for you. So unconscious compliance, of course, is very, very dangerous because it gets you hooked up to these toxic Luciferian interference codes. And this is really, so what we are having to do, we got to stop it and say no to this, become more conscious, become more aware, learn how it's happening to us so that we can say, right, no, I am stopping doing this, I choose a different reality for myself. So we got 3 strategies to do this with, and they are really simple. The difficulty is to keep doing them. First of all, start doing them and then keep doing them every day, making them a part of your life. And unless you do this, you will not make progress because anything the mind sees only once, even if it understands it and says, oh, well, like this, unless it is repeated on a regular basis, the mind will forget very, very quickly. And typically it takes between 3 and 4 weeks for something to take hold of your brain. But as it is in trading, if you don't trade every day intraday, for example, and if you have a system you use, I have one setup, I trade, but sometimes I have weeks when I do not trade again. So when I go back, well, I wouldn't say that I'm totally rusty, but I am aware of the fact if I haven't traded for a week or sometimes 2 weeks or whatever it is, I just need to make sure that I am totally in tune and use strategies to make sure that everything flows how I want it to flow. This is where sim trading is good, where you perhaps say, right, okay, I just need to do on a very quick time frame and in a very busy market, which may be best even a market I normally don't trade. I need to hone my mental nimbleness and just see my reactions, how quickly I unconsciously, very important, automatically, unconsciously follow my signals, see the right signals from the heart and act correctly. So strategy number 1, aligning the heart with the brain. This is the healing from your heart program, which we mentioned on Monday. It'll help you to do just that. Then the next one, strategy number 2, a daily meditation practice. You don't have to meditate for hours on end, but you have to have a daily meditation practice where you go still, you pull your focus out of the environment and be still for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that. Strategy 3, is increasing brain harmony. I use non-invasive neurostimulation, and I use tools to neutralize environmental toxins. At this point, I have to say, some of you who are listening here again, my apologies. I sent those who signed up to my newsletter. I promised non-invasive neurostimulation, and I sent something else out. There'll be a newsletter tonight where you will get the non-invasive neurostimulation webinar recording that explains everything about it. And if you're interested in that, please sign up to my newsletter. So all these free strategies will expand consciousness, and you become smarter as a result of it, and you also understand the universe better because it becomes intuitive. In meditation, things open up. And so altogether, these strategies will improve your learning skills, will make you mentally more nimble, and of course they will have a harmonizing and effect on you, which basically allows the body to get into homeostasis with greater ease. So the focus is on generating the tools we have within, generating the light and making it bigger, making more space. So the science of manifesting your reality. Let's start with the opposite. Ignorance of universal laws of creation keeps you ungrounded and in a negative feedback loop. It's as simple as that. You will not be in charge, and therefore you won't manifest what you want. When you manifest in alignment with universal laws, you can choose, and you will take on automatically a new vista of your beliefs and of your habits, and that absolutely has got to come first. So you will never ever get there if you insist on outside focus, just working solely on your trading strategy and watching fake news. It just won't happen. You have got to pull yourself out of external focus and go inside. And how do you get there? By becoming fluent with different modalities, and bring them into your trading. At the end of the day, you are both spirit and matter, and the two work together, whether you are aware of it or not. They are not separate from each other. When your brain and the heart is aligned, you are learning directly from the subtle energy field, which comes before the actualization in three-dimensional reality. And that is the beauty of it. It's manifestation in the fast lane. And that's why I place so much importance and so much emphasis on learning this. A quick look about how you create reality. It starts out, there's a mass, it's called, primal causal. There was nothing there. So there was this idea. And then, okay, I want to become a good trader. Well, the idea becomes a little bit clearer. Now, what do I need to see? That's the question. Not how do I do it? What do I need to see? So, you can see this in meditation. I see that regularly when I change reality in meditation, and when I do healing, and when I direct healing in the meditation academy, and working in groups with clients and things like this. Oftentimes I don't need to close my eyes, you can see it. And then all of a sudden the pieces of the puzzle become together. This speaks to me. There is suddenly out of nowhere a trading strategy. Wow, this is for me. Before you know it, bingo, you take action, you start trading it, it speaks to you. If there are flaws, you can make adjustments, nothing wrong with that, but that's how it works, okay? Vice versa, it works the other way. And also, I can pull things in and I can pull things out. And those of you who can see, that's what it looks like. Pulling in and pulling out. When you dissolve something you do not like, it goes back to the light. Now the heart And the mind, it's a beautiful alchemy when you learn how to use it and understand the process. You can pull everything in and push everything, let's call it uncreate, anything you have outgrown. I prefer to call it you have outgrown it rather than saying I dislike it. If you dislike it, you have outgrown it. So you do this by practicing a form of soft focus on your inner vision instead of focusing on what you think you need, is always fear. And you do this by staying in heart-mind alignment. Difficult for most folk because you never learned how to do it. Okay, judgment gets in the way. I can't do this. Environmental toxins get in the way. Chronic brain incoherence gets in the way. Technology to create what? Well, you know, from Monday's presentation, I've warned about the technology. I can't really emphasize this enough. It's very, very dangerous, and you don't need it to create. On the contrary, technology destroys, and cosmic history, if you know it, is proof of that. You do not need AI for automated trading unless you are the one who is creating the strategy. You are building it and you know what you are doing. Okay, AI will not dissolve fear and it will not improve your trading skills, and certainly won't improve life skill. You know, use it or lose it. Okay, ultimately AI is a Luciferian band-aid that will sooner or later work against you, and it'll stop you from actualizing the master within. These programs disconnect you from your innate ability to evolve as a human being, and it'll disconnect you from connection to source. And it's been very, very successful in doing this over a few decades. And we are at this point where ignorance and denial of what it is doing is no more a choice. So you got to look at it, you know, okay, if you choose to go with it, fine. Just outlining this here. So creating from connection always is joy, it always is light, and it always is and feels expansive. By contrast, following mechanical rules, and AI is mechanical, it always has got a limiting, suffocating element to it because it destroys life force, and you can feel into it if you allow yourself to do that. Here is a brain under fear. A calm brain, this is, by the way, I've taken this from a brain mapping scan. I have seen countless brain mapping scans with non-invasive neurostimulation with and without, with ADD people who hesitate because either the brain works too slow or too fast. A beautiful brain is that gray brain here. There is nothing too fast and nothing too slow, and everything is operating as it should. There is no efforting involved. It just flows beautifully. That's what we want to see. So the linear mind repeats what it knows, can't do anything else, but the heart has vision. It's the big difference. Your reality is the product of incorrect, mechanically generated memories. It's not vision, it's just what's there. When you expand your cognitive awareness, existing conditions will dissolve. The heart energy always, if you tune into it, it's of harmony, beauty, and its order. Beauty, of course, is harmony, expansion, and of gentle joy. And it creates a space. As we said, mechanical thinking creates exactly the opposite. So therefore, the foundation of all trading success is based on all the above, because it increases well-being and it gets you living more internally instead of focusing externally. And when you live internally, you feel more what's not right. So from linear to mind to the heart-centered mind. You know, the linear mind, basically, well, it wants to figure everything out. That's what it does. It does things mechanically and in linear order: system, rules, discipline, analysis, critical evaluation, and, you know, rinse and repeat the same thing all over. By contrast, the heart, the quantum-led mind, does things very differently. It always harmonizes because it doesn't judge. You know, it can't judge. It sees everything. Therefore, it goes beyond polarity into acceptance because it sees everything as the same. It's you know, everything is equal. There is not the differentiation we use when you come from the heart energy, and use it in connection with the mind, of course. This is not saying you don't use the mind at all, by the way. So the quantum mind uses the heart literally as a shortcut to manifestation. So I wonder if you asked yourself now, what if you were really honest, if you could tune into your heart right now, what would you choose? What would you really choose in this moment, in this instant? From now, we got to get on with this here because I want to get through all of this here. So what it looks like, I love this. The heart taking the brain for a walk, and that's beautiful because the heart leads. If it's done correctly, you know, then, you know, the brain willingly follows along and expands and builds new neurons, and that's very exciting, of course. So let's look at meditation. The transformational guided meditation, that is the form of meditation I teach, does the following things. You know, it does some things which most other meditations do, but it also does something else. Most meditations will slow down the brain. You know, once you got a little bit of practice, they ground the body and create inner space because you become more energy and less matter. It bypasses the critical middleman, the linear mind. That is when you go deep into the subconscious. And this is what I teach in meditation. I teach in the Meditation Academy how to do this. So then it gently disconnects you from externally driven focus. And the more often you do it, you become very aware of it in your daily life. And you do it more and more in your daily tasks. And this is how you bring it into trading. And when you do this, you know, am I aligned or not? If I'm not aligned, okay, I walk away. Together with this, you know, it requires the pineal gland opening. So, and because the moment the pineal gland starts to open, the external influence starts to fade away. It's no longer the dominant driver. So all this together, of course, improves emotional regulation. Now you have more control. You have more tools available to you to react to or act in your environment. So that automatically will reconnect you to your source because the separation begins to fall away and you can feel it. All of a sudden, you know, there is no space. Everything is one. It's accessible now. You don't have to go somewhere. It's there now. So, and this allows you to choose with increased mindfulness, if you like, instead of choosing from your programs. So if you could learn one thing, well, of course, what would it be? Trading and living from your heart, activating the heart energy, activating a healthy environment and a healthy mind with meditation, with heart-centered breathing and heart-centered thinking. This is what the Healing from Your Heart program is all about. So let's look at a few facts here. Neurofact, the biggest of all, I guess, is that whenever you go into fear, it lingers for 26 hours in your body. Now, joy doesn't do this. Joy has got to be constantly re-anchored, reinforced, reinforced, reinforced until it takes over. So by fear, unless you choose to do something to get rid of it and transmute it, it'll stay there for 26 hours. So that's a long time. If you trade every day, if you had a fearful moment, you will automatically the next day of your trading fall back into that fearful moment. So when you are, by contrast, in the heart, and the heart is the dominant driver, you will become aware of what feels good for you and what doesn't feel good for you. You will also feel what's truth versus what's false. And you will be able to align your heart with your chart. Actually, in my course, Improve Your Trading Mind for 21 days, there are exercises for this. If any of you are interested in that course, do send me an email. So when you process information from your heart and instead from your mind, basically you make better decisions. You know, that's it in a nutshell. And your intuition is increasing because you're becoming more aware of it, right? So if your mind, the heart knows, the heart does not judge. By contrast, your mind always judges. Judgment drains energy, it slows down your mind, and it keeps you in the prism of the fantasies of other people who want you to behave in certain ways. It's as simple as that, right? So normally, this is what you look like. This is an image of what the typical chakra system looks like, and we can do tests on this, you know, with biorhythm devices. Okay, and here, if you do, for example, the healing from your heart activations, which are in my program, which is the special offer today, you know, you do this, and this is what happens. Everything gets back into alignment, and this is what you feel in feeling better. The brain becomes clearer, and what I said, there is more space. Your emotions become automatically much more harmonious, and then you get in touch with the real you. You do this on a regular basis. It feels so different. You suddenly think, wow, I never knew this is possible for me. Yes, it is. Quick word about emotions. They are vital. They are your friend, but wishful thinking is limiting. Waiting for something to happen stops creative trading and investing. Hope is an acknowledgement that you have no power. Projecting outcomes is judgment. Feeling the need to react to prevent the next disaster is always fear. Overtrading, scalping for 2 ticks also is fear. Bargaining with the market and your so-called God is fear. Resenting present circumstances is victimhood. You fear you can't get out of it. And resisting change, of course, is also always fear and victimhood. Okay. So imagine when you are in your head, you take defensive action on judgment because you judge, on projections because you need to overanalyze everything, instead of observing if your vision is still on course. That's all you need to do once you're in a trade. Okay, you know, is it still there? Has the pattern morphed into something else? Your mind makes decisions from learned references and memory. So memory, neurofact number 2, very important, is only 50% accurate. Your heart is the wire to infinite possibility, not your mind, because the heart knows and feels your vision and senses the outcome. Neurofact number 1, talked about it earlier. Your mind has no vision, just to remind you. And when you train from your vision and you are in alignment, I assure you dysfunctional behaviors cease. This is not a one-day wonder. You have to work at it. But my question is, do you choose to trade and invest from your vision, or, okay, want to go any further? That's what it looks like. Trading, living from your heart. By contrast, look at the disturbance. Don't need to say anymore. I'm sure you could all see the difference. Now the heart creates a direct feedback loop to your mind. And that means you can't help but react faster, think less, your dualistic mind impulses recede, and basically it feels so good. So why on earth would you not want to would you not want to give it a go? Okay, so here the heart energy keeps you in your vision. Right, living from your heart. Strategies are simple, just to remind you again: healing from your heart, activation, meditation, and neutralizing toxins. Okay. So here is the special offer, and it looks we may have time to do a quick group exercise, actually, which is good. So healing from your heart course is, well, you know, I've really explained, you know, what it is. It activates the heart energy. That's really what it's all about, and it uses the very, very powerful energy. I started channeling, you know, last year, and it's very, very beautiful energy. It's all explained in the course, and this energy is very, very much in play at the moment. I've managed through my channeling in groups to elicit a lot of shift, positive shift around that energy. It's changed quite dramatically and will continue to change, but it's always supporting and very, very gently loving. It's not at all overbearing. If something is overbearing, it's not right. It's fake. Just saying. So the bonus will be a copy of my book, The Buddhist Trader, which goes in detail into my philosophy. It goes into detail into my journey, which has been going on, well, for over 20 years. I've been doing this work for 30 years and learned a lot. A lot has changed, and, you know, will be changing and is changing. So, okay, you can go to Mental Strategies for Traders, go onto the product page. It's on healing from your heart. You'll see it under courses. Now, okay, I think we have, well, not a lot of time. Shall we do questions first? David, can I do questions? Hello? Anybody here?
Yeah, if yeah, there haven't been any yet, but yeah, if anyone has any questions, we have about 3 minutes.
How many? We have got about 3 minutes then. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think well, I'll see if anybody has any questions, because the group exercise will take a bit longer so that people get anything out of it. I trot here. All right, do I see anything?
Just
So
earlier in the
looking,
presentation,
I don't see anything.
someone asked about the Babylonian money codes that you were talking about.
Right, okay. Yes, I don't see that here. Right, Babylonian money codes. Basically, it is something I discuss in our monthly group meetings. This is a code which shows you the interference energy. Why do we have problems of working properly? It is because there is a way external energy hooks into you, and it has many triggers. Electromagnetic radiation is a trigger. 5G is a trigger. There are triggers in the market. And when you learn to feel energy, then you will also become aware of these triggers. So it's learning. I mean, I just see here something: the heart must definitely trust, which is actually very, very true. And this is what you have to learn first of all. We have unlearned how to trust because everything is externally driven. So we don't even know what trusting feels like anymore. It's gone. It's disappeared into never land. So really, before we can engage with these strategies in a meaningful manner and take them into trading, we have to relearn this. So when we look at how these codes operate, and by the way, they also operate like this in the health arena, it's all designed to throw you out of balance, which is not your natural way of being. Every code that keeps you worried, gotta fill in the tax form, gotta make sure I have enough money to do this, that, and the other. What is the financial reset about? A lot of false information is out about this. Just something we are talking about in this coming weekend, from coherence, from chaos to coherence, live group coaching call. I mean, I found some very interesting research by accident, and it goes a long way to fully understanding how the Babylonian money codes operate and have been operating for a very long time. And it's important to understand this, because that understanding is the gateway to noticing it for yourself and ultimately empowering you to say, with a degree of inner independence and sovereignty, I do not choose this. It does not feel good for me. I choose something else instead. Very important. So again, I invite you to sign up to my newsletter. I will be sending out a newsletter later on, and I will also send you the non-invasive neurostimulation with it as well. So thank you very much, David and Anka, and thank you for everybody listening to what I had to say and share.